Hey, and welcome. I've finally got my internet back and working. They're doing so many building works around here, and it's just so uncertain whether we're going to have internet or not. So we've got it. It's working. It's tethered to my phone. So hopefully we've got sound, we've got everything, and we can get going. So it's a big week this week in finance because we have FOMC meetings, and it's kind of pivotal. And it's going to set the tone for the next month or two and where we're going with Bitcoin. So we get a rate cut, we're going up, and we're going to see some tether prints. If not, we're likely going down and we're going to see some lower lows. So let's jump into that and see where it's heading, because it's kind of just sitting there at the moment, just doing nothing and going sideways as it has been for a while. So let's jump into this. So BTC has a head and shoulders. It has broken this pivot here, which means potentially this is going up. We're yet to break the next pivot, which is very important. So that's at 106, 107, depending on what exchange you're on. Could even go up to 108. So just sort of be careful with that and be cautious. If it does break that region there, it is heading to 110. And that's our next hurdle and our next pivot in that region. And if it breaks 110, it's probably going to that BLX target of the 122, which is up at this point here. So yeah, while it's been so boring, so incredibly boring over this past week, I think we are just about to start heading off and, getting some momentum in this. Whether that's short or long, we're going to know this week. So you can have an each way bet. Some of the exchanges allow you to do that. And it's not ideal, obviously, but that's about all there is to say for BTC at the moment. It's right in the center of a pivot. So it doesn't have direction. If you're crypto capo, he's saying that it's the end of the world. End of the world, and it's going down, which is possible as we see on this chart here. So, but we're holding right in the middle of those pivots. So, and we've broken back above for the head and shoulders. So I don't even think that's a valid pattern anymore. So I'm removing that. But we do have a lack of liquidity in the market across the board, especially in alts. A lot of the exchanges are really suffering with that at the moment. One thing we want to look at is the MACD is looking more and more bullish by the day. Our islands are getting smaller and smaller. When they flip green, this is going to be huge. And those indicators there are just about to cross over. This stock is looking maybe like it might have one more cross down before we head up. And the RSI has neutraled out. So we're just sort of holding. And I know that's not what anyone wants to hear, but this is a big week for not only crypto, for the markets as a whole. So when we look at the Bitcoin dominance, we're sitting pretty even as well. We haven't had a lot of momentum since last week. It does look like it's going to start heading up though. It is starting to get that kind of momentum happening. Still a lot of bearish divergence sitting here. So I would say maybe one more push. That's going to push BTC potentially to 110. And then we'll see a correction at that point. Again, we're waiting to see what the FOMC does. Total had a head and shoulders. It broke down as well. It's had a really nice correction to the 1.236 fib. So that's a strong correction for that one. And this could be a reversal. So there's a couple of patterns that show that this is a reversal. And then there's a couple of patterns that show it isn't. So I'm just sitting on the fence here. So if we're looking at the DXY, this has had a strong rejection here. And we want, hang on, just let me move that off. We want to continue down to these regions. We haven't broken the low on the DXY, but potentially that's going to happen this week. And that's when we'll see crypto sort of flip and BTC go up. If we do get another bounce on the DXY, that's when we'll see BTC pull back. They work like this seesaw. If you've been watching me for quite some time, you'll know that. It has got support on the RSI. So that's the only thing that's looking sort of a little bit iffy for Bitcoin to go up, like potentially past that 110. When we're looking at ETH BTC, we're still seeing one more pullback for this, which means BTC has more strength. So that's a good sign as well. ETH BTC is probably pulling back to 0.0228. And that's when we'll see some momentum with BTC. And a quick look, I'm just going to also remind you guys that we've got our Femex free signals as well. So if you head to gettingstartedInCrypto.com, you can sign up there and follow the instructions. Make sure you use our referral code or you will not get the signals. And a lot of people put it in and I go, no, hang on. Or whoever replies to those emails at the time says no, and they have to do it all again. So make sure you're registering with our referral code. That's the only way you're going to get the free signals, and deposit your $1,000 and off you go. And we've had signals coming in like the past week. You'll see in a couple of hours, I've got a post going up on Twitter just to let you know what we've been doing. And it's been a really good week, even though it's been quiet. We haven't had as many signals, obviously, because nothing's moving. But it's looking like it's going to be the rest of the month. There's going to be opportunities coming. There's always opportunities in the market, so you just got to know where to look. I'm going to have a quick look at alts right now and see where we're going and where we're heading. So last week we were sort of looking at one more wave for a lot of these alts. That's still the case on a lot of these as well. So this is Sonic. It looks like it's got one more wave, maybe down to 32, and then it should see quite a large bounce. That's the end of that falling wedge, and it should bounce quite hard. That's going to be the volatility of this week and probably the next. Solana is showing that it's holding the 100 MA on the daily, and that's a really strong sign. So it might have one more retest of that 0.05 before the FOMC meeting happens, and that's going to determine. So again, on the daily for Solana, it is showing on the MACD that it's got easing sell pressure, and that's starting to flip the momentum as well. The RSI and the stock are looking quite good. RSI on the daily still has a little bit of bearish, but if you go down to the lower time frames, it's looking really good. SWE, I would say there's not enough waves here, so I'm eyeing still the 618 for one more wave down. It can bounce from here, but the RSI looks like it might have one more move down. The MACD, although, is looking like it's about to move. That doesn't mean it doesn't have that one last wave down just to finish that pattern and then take off. XRP we looked at last week, and it came back down and bounced on that support again. I said it was going to have one more test of that support. Now this is coming back to retest potentially the 100 and 200. This is an hourly time frame for XRP. So that's at about 2.18. When I take this one up to the daily, it looks really choppy. It's outside of the wedge, which is quite nice. And it looks like it's got really strong momentum. It has had that cross, but that can sort of twist and twist and twist for a little bit. XRP is known to do that, as we can see in this region here. So don't get too concerned about that. It might just be a sideways period for XRP for a little bit as it consolidates. And last but not least, I've got Teo. And it's come back down and it's touched the region that I was mentioning last week. I do think it's got one more touch to this region, possibly to that 0.05, which is about 325. And then we should start to see some momentum. So a bit of a choppy week this week for BTC. We want to hold, I think there was somebody that said we were holding 106. If we hold 106, we're going up. That's not the case. There's a lot, it can go right back down to that 100K mark and retest that low without breaking this pattern. So if you're banking on that, staying above those regions, I think it's about to get really choppy. So we might get just all stop losses taken out, up and down before the FOMC, because there hasn't been a lot of trading going on. There hasn't been a lot of anything going on. So there's really low liquidity. So that's going to be what's going to happen this week. So just be careful. Don't go in like with super huge positions that you're going to get liquidated in. Just be really cautious this week with everything that you do, because it's going to get choppy, hopefully, because that will mean that we're restarting something. We want that momentum. We want that sort of volatility to come back into the market. And then we're going to see some nice moves, hopefully over the next 6 months. I think we're nearing the end of this sideways chop for like across the market, and we'll start moving soon. Alts are nearly at the bottom and they're not far away. So yeah, it is looking really, really good. And hopefully all of you guys are staying safe in the market. It's super quiet out on social media at the moment. So yeah, super quiet in here as well. Super quiet with my watches. Normally we get quite a few more, but yeah, thank you for watching. And you know where to find me. This went live on Instagram, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and of course, Getting Started in Crypto. And if you're not in there, get in there. GettingStartedInCrypto.com. Thanks for watching, guys.